Today, we're going to be talking about the pet peeves. All of my kind of bookish pet peeves are things that happen in books that I don't like. They're not necessarily deal breakers for me. So even though these things I'm about to share with you definitely are like kind of cringeworthy, they don't make me hate a book. A lot of my favorite books actually have these pet peeves in them. So like I said, even though these things do happen in books, they're not like, oh my god, I hate this book, I'm never gonna read it again, it's terrible because of this like 1 or 2 or 5 pet peeves that happen in the book. I'm probably going to be forgetting a lot that I wanted to mention, but you know what? I'm just gonna try my best to remember most of them, and I think I have about like 4 or 5, so not too many. Let's get into this. Bookish pet peeve number 1. This happens all the time. I may have mentioned it in one of my book moments videos, but it happens mainly in YA books. Like almost, the book will either start this way or it'll happen sometime in the beginning of the book. I have a character, it's her first day back at school, and almost 100% of the time, the first day ends up going terribly. So she'll get to school, right, and she'll end up being late, like she's almost always late on the first day of school, and then she'll make a huge scene, she'll have to go into a classroom, and there'll be a ton of students there, and they're like, oh my god, who's this new girl? That's the other thing too, it'll be her first day at a new school on top of that. She'll end up tripping or falling or like dropping her books everywhere or getting lost, which is understandable. I mean, when you read about this like over and over and over again, which feels like almost in every single book, sometimes it gets kind of on my nerves, and this always happens too, right? This is when generally the guy is introduced also, the love interest is also introduced in this part of the book. She'll make a huge scene, and then the person helping her up off the ground ends up being, what do you know? Her love interest. It happens a lot. Again, is it something that like I absolutely hate? Not necessarily, it's just one of those things I'm just like, oh, again. Pet peeve number 2. This happens okay, this one really irks me. Like this one makes me so mad sometimes. We have our character, right? And she gets invited to go to this party that she just really doesn't want to go to. And 99% of the time, she ends up going to the party. Even though she doesn't want to go, she ends up going. Either A, her love interest is there and she embarrasses herself, or B, she just ends up embarrassing herself, or C, something really tragic or dramatic happens. Now again, you're probably like, Naya, this is just like how books are, you know, like people go to parties. I'm talking about the characters that are just really don't want to go, like they don't like parties, that's not their thing, but they always end up going. Maybe it's just me, maybe I'm just like so introverted to the point where I just turn down everything, and if I don't want to go to something, like I won't go. That one bugs me. I don't really know why. I think mainly again it's one of those things where it's like I read it over and over and over again. I'm just like, if you don't want to go to the party, don't go. Another thing is like if it's like a fantasy book or like some sort of like supernatural book that has some sort of supernatural element in it, the character will be warned saying, you know, I'm inviting you to this party, but it could put you in danger, so you shouldn't go. But she goes anyways. Pet peeve number 3. This one actually really makes me angry, and I hate when this happens in books. It just makes me want to like slap the character. I mean, generally, I don't slap people at all, but in this case, I will slap the character. This is actually something that has happened already in a book that I'm loving and currently reading, Kiss of Deception. That's when the guy character is just like really rough and grabs the girl's arm to turn her around. And this happens not just in fantasy books, but in contemporary books too. Say like there'll be 2 characters in a hallway and they're kind of mad at each other, and the girl will be like, I'm done talking to you, and then she turns to walk away, and then he'll grab her arm roughly and like turn around and be like, wait, let me tell you this, da 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 da. And for some reason, like for the girl, she doesn't get that upset over the whole like roughly grabbing her arm and like turning her around. Like if that happened to me, I would just be like I would punch the guy. Like, no, you do not grab her roughly like that. Like, that is an off-limits thing. And for me, again, that just really bugs me when this happens. And it bugs me more when the female character, like, doesn't think anything of it. She just thinks, oh, he's kind of angry, or like, oh, he's kind of upset, so like, I understand why he did that. Like, no, it's not ever okay to do that. And this just happens all the time, and the character, she just tends to overlook it and not see it as something that's like, hey, you know, don't do that. On the opposite hand, sometimes in my favorite books, when this happens, the girl full out slaps the character, and I'm just like, yes, girl, that is the proper reaction. a female character, like she's with her love interest now. She's really happy and really in love, and she kind of tends to overlook bad stuff that the person she's in love with starts to do. And usually this ends in her leaving the character for the other character in the love triangle. But this kind of part of the book always just is a little bit of a pet peeve for me because, for example, like the character will end up saying something or doing something or hurting someone else, and that character, the female character, is just so in love with this character that she just, again, like overlooks it. And I'm just like, no. I just hate the characters that just overlook stuff. And one of the reasons why I love all of my favorite books is because either A, this has happened and the character realizes it, like what she's doing, and like gets over it, or it's just like from the get-go, she's just like, no, she does not tolerate any sort of like bad behavior from the person that she is in love with. For example, using the example of like the party thing again, she'll get invited to a party and really doesn't want to go, but the guy invites her and she's like, okay, well, since he invited me, I guess I'll go, even though I really don't want to, and I don't know the guy that well, and I don't even know the people that are going to be there that well. You know, for me, I would just be like, no, sorry, I'm going to be reading my book in my room. Last pet peeve, and this one's kind of two combined in one, but okay, this happens in fantasy books all the time, and when it happens too much, it starts to become a pet peeve for me, and that is when our main character or a female character is just constantly like blacking out or like getting hurt, and then the guy is having to come and like carry her to the infirmary or like rescue her, but it's okay. I mean, I understand in books like characters are in danger and they get rescued, like that happens, but when it happens like just over and over again, just to one character, to the point where it's just like, it seems like this character is not really a fighter and more of just someone who's constantly in danger and needs to be rescued. Like, maybe it's just those books in general, but that tends to kind of become a pet peeve for me because I'm just like, you know, how come the guy in the book never needs rescuing? How come it's just the girl? I'm definitely a feminist, if you guys can't tell. So yeah, these things that happen, they kind of just become pet peeves for me, and yeah. But I feel like a bit of a hypocrite because in one of my favorite books, Shatter Me, you know, in the first book, our main character is just completely broken, and in this case, she's just constantly needing help. These things aren't deal breakers for me, like I said, if they happen in books, like it won't make me immediately hate the book or be like, no, I don't like it anymore. These are just things that kind of irk me a bit. Anyways, okay, those are all the pet peeves I have for now. There will definitely be a part 2 in the future. But let me know what kind of pet peeves you have down below, and until next time, keep reading, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye!